Alright, this has been drying for a while. So now it's ready to get a finished. Ooh, that's a bit snug. Well, it'll loosen up with use. Anyway, let's see, where was it? Oh yeah, it's time to put a finish on this thing. First thing I'm going to do now that it's dry is wet it. A little bit of moisture on those edges. Soften that gum trag a little bit. And give them a good going over. Get that shine back, get that burnish back. And then after we're done with that, we're going to give it a coat of some neat's foot oil. Remove my light. Neat's foot oil. And then we're going to let the neat's foot oil soak in overnight. And then give it a final top coat with the tan coat. But first, we're going to go ahead and go over these edges and reburnish them, because when you when I wet mold them, it softens the gum trag on the edges and they get kind of rough. So now I want to get them ready for the final top coating and final finish. Okay, we'll be right back. Like I think I mentioned in my burnishing videos, I generally do, that burnishing of the edges goes on for the entire construction of the holster. It's not just something you can do real quick, get it out of the way, move on to the next step. At least I don't. I mean, I burnish my edges all the way through to the end. So anyway, we got these edges all pretty much burnished, or I should say reburnished, because you know I burnished them and then I'm reburnishing them. Next step is to get some neat's foot oil on there. Why neat's foot oil? Well, you wet the holster to do the stamping, okay, and then you dye it, and that wets it, and then it dries, and then you mold it. You don't just wet it, you wet it with hot water and let it dry. And the result of all that wetting and drying removes some of the oils, the natural oils that are in the leather. Well, neat's foot oil basically comes out of a cow, and it never goes rancid, it never dries, but what it does do is it puts those oils back, and you don't need loads and loads of it. What I do is I just put a little bit on a paper towel and wipe it on. Now that will absorb into the leather and replace those oils. Like I said, it'll never dry. So once you do this, the neat's foot's in there, and thus, you know, the holster gets wet again or something. So let it absorb in for a little bit and then wipe it off. Well, wipe off the excess anyway. You're not going to wipe it all off, because obviously if it's getting absorbed into the leather, it's not going to come back out of the leather. And just do that to both sides. Should still have enough on there, yeah. Now, I'm going to do this tonight, and then after a day or so, I'm going to go ahead and put top coat on. I want to leave it to absorb at least for a day, to soak into the leather before I go top coat it. Okay, and that's that for a little while anyway. And when we come back next, we're going to go ahead and put a top coat on it. Okay, it's time to get a top coat on this thing. I let it sit overnight. Like I said, it doesn't dry completely. It doesn't dry at all, actually. But the oils soak into the leather to help protect it. Well, not protect it, but nourish it. Let's give it a last buffing before I put a top coat on it. And what I like is when you buff it, kind of bring the shine out. Looks pretty good. Front and back. Because also what the buffing does is it gets the extra dye off for the one last time before you top coat it, and keep it all nice and protected. Okay, I'm going to start out by getting myself a clean paper towel. I go through a fair amount of paper towels doing this, so. But actually what I do is I save the old ones, the ones that I've used, for like wiping up spills and such things. And I just fold it like that. Going to use my tan coat. Put that in my clamp. And get my dauber. Make sure I get it down in those stitch lines too. Basically just load up the dauber and smear it all over. Don't really have to worry about being neat because like I did with the neat's foot oil, I'm going to come back and wipe off the excess. Make sure I get in those stitch lines to help protect those. That's the thing, the stitch lines are recessed and top coated. That's to help ensure that it's going to last a while. Now it dries pretty fast, so you got to work kind of quickly, but not too quickly. And I just wipe off the excess. And I'll do that front and back. And once that dries a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and buff it out and get it all nice and shiny and pretty. Right, be back in a second, or a moment, or a little bit. Anyway, we'll be back. Well, the front sides, I just got the back side done. I'm going to give that some time to dry. The front side is dry enough to start buffing on it. I like to start buffing before it gets really dry while it's still a little bit soft, because that can really bring out the shine doing that. And I like to make it shine. I like shiny stuff. And there you go. I'm also going to do the back side a little bit. Yeah, it's dry enough. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and do these edges again. And yeah, I'm going to burnish them some more. Get those nice and pretty. Get around here. Sometimes also what I'll do is I'll put some more on the inside. Just like where it looks like there's going to be a lot of wear, like where the trigger guard fits in. Looks like there could be a lot of wear there. Here, let me just, there you go. Got yourself a nice bit of retention there. Pretty much exactly the way I want it. It is going to wear in a little bit, but it won't get too loose, and that's what I want. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish up top coating this thing. And one thing I do when I get it all coated is I'll take my mallet, put it in my clamp, and leave it like that. Let it sit overnight, come back the next day, buff it some more, and wait another day, and then off it goes. Alright, I'm going to finish up on the top coat, and we'll be back.